Hello, everyone, and welcome to our ecstatic Sufi sharing, joining. This is the third time we are coming together to awaken within us that spring or even ocean of love and devotion to the single expression of reality that there is. You can call that God, Allah, Yahweh. The words are not nearly as important as the experience. And that's what we're here to welcome, is the experience of this. As you may have noticed, we're not here sharing a lot of ideas or concepts, maybe a little bit, just to keep the mind occupied. But where this is really focused is the experience of union with the beloved. As far as what I understand of Sufism, this is the heart. This is what Sufism is really all about, union with the beloved. And we share this in these classes through the different perspectives of Christianity, Judaism, Islam. But it really comes down to that simple experience, which we begin by simply welcoming. And so today we're going to welcome that in a new, slightly different way, but it'll be the same nonetheless. But before we get into it, I just want to welcome Ghassan and Taya and see if either of you would like to share a few words as we begin here. Let's begin with you, Ghassan. You want to share anything?
First of all, I want to say that I'm so happy to be with you today, and I'm full of joy because God gave us a very beautiful princess for my son Abed yesterday.
Oh,
Yes,
wonderful.
thank you. I'm so happy, and I feel connected to God more and more now after this beautiful gift that we got from Divine. And really, it's happy to be with you. Thank you.
And what is her name, Ghassan?
Gulnar.
Burnar. That's a beautiful
Gul-
name. Can you tell us what that means?
Gulnar, it's a pomegranate flower.
Oh, wow. Gulnar.
That is so beautiful. Congratulations, brother. That's very
Amazing.
exciting.
Thank you.
So amazing to welcome your new granddaughter into the world. Wow. And I'm so excited to be here with each of you. It's a great pleasure to play in this sacred way in this zone that we are weaving together. And I'm here to see what wants to unfold along with each of you.
Great, thank you. You may have noticed that I just put in the address for Ghassan's PayPal. Excuse me. I want to begin by, on behalf of Ghassan, thanking all of you who have already been so very generous. As you know, he has his whole family over here from Israel, and it's more and more difficult for him to be able to support them during the pandemic because it's hard to travel and share and teach. So this is one way that we can help support our beautiful brother here. So if you haven't already made a donation, even a small one would make a big difference. And it's important for us to remember that it isn't giving that we receive. If we want to receive the full benefit of this sacred offering, we have to be willing to share that same sacred offering in its many forms. And one of the forms is to be very generous with those who are helping us to open and to awaken. So if you haven't already done that, please feel free to use that address. I'm sure he will be very grateful. His whole family will be very, very grateful. And you will be very grateful because whatever I give to thee is received by me. Whatever I give to thee is received by me. So let's dive right in. I just actually texted Ghassan and Taya a few minutes ago to tell them the theme of our sharing today. I personally, I think it's fun to be completely unprepared and just to show up and allow spirit to move in different directions. So we're going to be focusing today on the statement, wherever I am. Is that what I wrote? I can't. Let me look at the text. That somehow I feel like it was slightly different than that. Let me just look.
You wrote exactly where I am.
Exactly where I
I
am.
am with the capital A-M.
Exactly where I am. You can see right away that this is more than just a simple question that we may ask ourselves, but this is all about that ecstatic union with the beloved that we were describing before, exactly where I am, where the I am presence is, which is everywhere at once, in everyone at once, in everything at once, because it's one. The I am presence is one, but it manifests itself through each and every single one of us. So I'm going to share a few minutes and then I'll just turn it over to our other dear teachers, and then we'll take it at the end and see what you guys want to share. But I actually want to begin by reading just a little tiny bit from my new book, The Impersonal Light, which just came out a few weeks ago. And I was just opening this earlier today, and I came to a paragraph that I thought would be a great introduction to this theme of exactly where I am. So it says, no matter what the evidence shows you, I am everywhere and in everyone. The so-called evidence of separation seems to be in your mind, but remember, this is that unified consciousness that we sometimes call God or Allah speaking to you. The so-called evidence of separation seems to be in your mind, but it is not in my mind. And since it is not in my mind, it's also not in yours. Do you feel how huge that is? I believe that the so-called evidence of separation is in my mind, but because it's not in God's mind, it's also not in my mind. I just believe that it is. So the question then becomes, why do you seem to see what cannot actually be seen? Why do I seem to see what cannot actually be seen? If you can honestly answer this question and do so joyfully, there will be nothing left binding you to this world. I could give you the answer, but that would deprive you of realizing that you already know the answer. Simply put, you are the answer. Until now, you've chosen to believe that you are the question, but never the answer. Everything seems questionable in your mind, including and especially you. You seem questionable in your own mind. You question your own reality. You even question your own unreality. No wonder you're so confused. But now a light has dawned in your mind, and you are able to consider what I am telling you. Your consideration alone is enough to shake you from your sleep. But consider it honestly, otherwise you will fall deeper into the dream. Resist the urge to make yourself special, because that is the primary reason for your sleeping. That which is whole cannot be special, except totally special. But total specialness brings about a complete undoing. Once again, complete and total specialness brings about a complete and total undoing of all error and all illusions. This is the door you find yourself standing in front of right now. All you need to do is turn the handle and step inside. The I am presence that's within you right now, whole and complete within you right now. This is what we are focused on. And yet we begin exactly where I am. This came to me earlier today because this morning and early into the afternoon here has been very challenging at our community here in Mexico, Namaste Lake Chapala. It's been a challenging beginning to the day. Lots of drama, lots of stuff, lots of meetings that I've had to have to try and calm things down, to let things settle in. And yet, as we just heard from this sharing, from the I am consciousness, which you are right now, if we approach these things joyfully, then we can find that holy presence exactly where I am. In that moment, when I realized that, I was in some confusion. I was in a little bit of upset. I was having to deal with issues and personalities and opinions. But guess what? God is present exactly where I am. And if I can approach that joyfully, then that merging and dissolving into the beloved that we've been speaking about happens easily and naturally. But I have to be willing. I have to, once again, realize that God is exactly where I am. Even when I'm having to go through stuff, even when I'm having to move through traumas and dramas and issues and opinions and all the different things that we express as humans, God is present exactly where I am. And if I allow myself to dissolve into that joyfully, not to think that this is a difficult work, because it isn't. This is not difficult work. It's challenging work for sure. It challenges us to the highest degree. But that doesn't mean it's difficult. Falling back into the arms of the beloved is the easiest and most wonderful thing you'll ever do. And it begins by realizing that God is exactly where I am. So I thought I would just start off the discussion with that today, because we are all where we are. Whatever is happening in our world is what's happening in our world. Some of it's joyous, like the birth of Ghassan's new granddaughter, or other challenging things that may be happening, but still God is present, and I can dissolve into that. So I'm going to turn it over to whoever would like to go next, either Ghassan or Taya. Would you like to go, Taya? No? Oh, Ghassan. She's pointing to Ghassan. Let's
I'm
have her.
passing it to
I
Ghassan.
see.
I'm
Beautiful.
handing the pomegranate to Ghassan.
Oh, this is the pomegranate, and this is that flower. Thank you, thank you, thank you, James. Really, it's very deep. It's a tunnel from the first point until the zero atmosphere. You took us so deep today. I would like to say that your words, like I'm reading the Quran, it's a very holy words what you wrote, and it's so close to the Quran, to the Bible, to the New Testament, to the to our souls. It's so close because, as you say, we are the answers, and because we thought that we are the questions, and it's a true through our existence, where exactly where I am. It's so beautiful for us to know. And Ibn Arabi, 13th century, he answered these questions. He say, "Where's God? I'll be there. If God is exist here, I'm exist here." But the most deep questions in the 14th century was by Gili when he say, "Okay, what is I'm exist here? In which character? In my dream or in my action? I'm exist here." Because there's no two interpretation for the dreams. The first interpretation will be that this is the longing for us to go to the origin of all of us. And the second interpretation of the crazy Sufis, they say that you would like to continue your action, your action. It's the continuation. It's say that you are not static. No, because if you'll be static, nothing will move. I'm here with the movement. And the meaning is I'm inside the process of the creation. I still part of the creation. I'm partner of this all creation all around the world. I'm the logos. I'm the logos. because we say Jesus is the Logos, right? And we can say the first light in Judaism and Islam, the first light is Abraham, and in Islam they say Muhammad. But it's very important for all of us to understand I'm here, I'm here through God. Because the theory that say that God is everything, God within everything, and he never entered to anything. It's 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 like the same questions. How can you get out of the room that you never entered to that room? How we can do that, you know? How we can do that? This is our question because all of our thinking are around a very important point that we think that we understand, and sometimes we didn't enter and we never got out. Where we are, I'm here. Okay, I agree. We are here because I can throw all of this thing to our senses, internal or external senses. Our external senses will say, Hassan, you are next to your library, you are in your desk, and you are speaking. And the internal thing will say, Hassan, you are within God's consciousness. You are there. You are going through the action of God's consciousness. But the real point, not the real question or the real answer. The real point is where I am between this and that. There is this true? I'm not sure. But the most important thing I can say, look, there is a very great entrance for understanding where I am, exactly where I am. This entrance can say God's love, not human's love. You know, the human love for God, it's so great. The human connection for God, it's so great. But where is the question here about God's love, God's connection to the human? And if we look very careful, we will find all of the time we are running after point to be close to God, to connect God, to love God, to be with God. Okay, it's great. But why we didn't answer? What is the way of God to connect us and to love us? Maybe it can make our process easier. We can catch something and we can rebuild our way to God, not our God to us. And here is the answer for me that one day I lost the answer and I ran from Nazareth to Tzipori. I remember that the town or the village of Mary, mother of Jesus. You know, I went there and it was a spring, so beautiful, blooming season at that time. You know, I was close to the well, to the spring there, and suddenly I was alone. I opened my hands like in Titanic. You remember the movie Titanic, like in Titanic. But I wasn't alone because my beloved was with me. God was with me. Allah was with me. Elohim was with me, and he, was with me. And I discovered that the love began from God when He say, I in His tradition, holy tradition, He say, I was a hidden treasure, and I love to be known. Then I created the human being, and they know me through me or by me. Ah, then the creation came through love. I love to be known. Love, known, knowledge. Love and knowledge. Look at this. Love and knowledge. Then knowledge. If we take knowledge, in Arabic we say ma'rifah. It's deep knowledge, not ilm, the knowledge or the science. Then we have the knowledge and the love. Love, it's feelings, it's taste. Knowledge, it's act of thinking. But where? this mind or this mind? We need to understand. We need to know. Then I was there. I said, oh, he began the love. And I began to shout. I began to shout, love, 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 love. And suddenly there were, I saw some sheeps there, goats, some goats, and some person appear. And he saw me. I remember that. Who do you love? I say, I don't know. I don't know. And I ran away and I disappear. I arrived home again. And I will not speak a lot. I will pass to Tia soon. But I want to say that uh, I feel myself sometimes like I'm sitting in when we sit, with and we like what it's called.
A swing or a hammock or a cradle?
Maybe one of these. Okay, hammock. Okay, hammock. You know, I'm like this. Sometimes I'm up. Sometimes I'm down.
Ah, the swing.
The swim, right? And why? Because your love, because God began to love us, and He waiting, like you sent to fish, and it's there, it's there, and the fish come. Now we catch. God sent His love. He waiting for us to catch. We are the fish of love, you know. Need to catch, and when we'll catch, we'll be higher. When we'll be higher, then we will discover that we were blind. We open our eyes. Then I love everyone. And there you'll demolish all of the barriers between the religions, between the spiritual people, between the colors, between everything. And you will feel all of these people, they have the same religion as you, the religion of love.
Mm, mm, Thank you, Ghassan. Wow, that's right. Love is the bait and hooks us. And when we are hooked, there's no getting unhooked. Thank God. Something else that you said, Ghassan, that really took me, I could feel so deeply. Christians, coming from a Christian perspective, as I do, often say that Jesus was the Logos, as you mentioned. But that's not really true because there really was no Jesus. It was the I am that is the Logos, the beginning, the end, the first of all creation. It's the I am which was inhabited by the one that we sometimes call Jesus. What had happened to Jesus was that he had already been dissolved into the I am, and Jesus became the Logos. Now, Ghassan, remind me of that amazing Sufi saint. I think he was in the 900s, who in Iraq said, "I am God."
Yeah. This is Hallaj, Hussein bin Mansour al-Hallaj. He passed away in 922 in Baghdad. Killed.
We can see the exact same thing there as we see with Jesus, or with every dissolved I am consciousness. There is no longer that split, I self-identified part. Now, of course, he could still interact with people. People would call him Jesus, or whoever it may be. Each one of us really is called to the same thing, but to dissolve into the I am, so that there's no longer the self-identified James or the self-identified Ghassan or Taya or any of the rest of us, but only the I am presence. So it's that dissolving that, for me, this is the practice, just allowing myself to be taken and to be dissolved into the love that you mentioned, Ghassan. So that's what I took from your beautiful sharing. And now we're going to let it go even higher with our dear sister Taya. So I'm going to let her take it away.
Higher, no, just expanding the immense love that you each bring. I feel so moved as I'm hearing you speak, and One of the strands that comes really alive to me just ever since you first named, James, the themes for today, the theme for today is the Hebrew word hineni, here I am, which is said again and again in Torah and later as an act of showing up in sacred presence. The ancient ones, the patriarchs and the matriarchs, would say hineni to indicate I am here in the presence of God. I am here in the sacred presence of you, the way God moves through you. And for me, this simple word, hineni, which also can be used in what one might consider a mundane way. Like, are you here, hineni? I'm here. Like, if you're counting on a bus, if you're on a tour bus and trying to say, like, I'm here, you could say anipo, you could say I'm hineni. Here I am. Um, it's a mundane word, but it also is a naming of ourselves in the presence. And there's something that for me is deeply powerful in the act of showing up. That by showing up, which for me also, when I get out of bed each morning, whether my body wakes up, right? If I'm getting out of bed, my body wakes up. The rest of me may or may not wake up. I might wake up my body and turn right to my phone and start texting all the people. I might wake up and really feel my breath. Let myself be in the prayer that can be the simplest prayer of giving thanks for returning from the journey of sleep, of aliveness. The act of showing up and peeling back the layers that keep me from presence to coming into full presence, for me, that's a continual practice. And that's a continual practice that I feel like is encompassed in the frame of Hineni, is encompassed in the frame of Here I Am. And as I heard you, James, share some of your stories of the kerfuffles of the morning, and Ghassan, also your teaching, I've heard you speak powerfully to the teaching that is also a Jewish teaching, Yerida Beyad Aliyah, descend in order to ascend, that the being present in this earthly realm, the body, the relationships, the challenges and the gifts of being incorporated here. This is divine. And this is how we keep becoming God, by being in our showing upness of what's challenging, not only the bliss states. And this phrase that the Kabbalists say, Yerida Biyad Aliyah, going down in order to go up, is beautiful. And I like to, I don't know if it said script flip. I like to flip the script on that a little bit. So it's not just Yerida Biyad Aliyah, going down in order to go up, but also going up in order to go down. That the roller coaster, both aspects and all the in-betweens are holy. That it's not a polarity of either or, that it's a sacred dance that has this flow, and letting ourselves be in the flow with the sweet moments, with the challenges, and still attuning to the sacred, still knowing that all is whole, all is holy. This is the growth, the path. And in Jewish teaching, it's said that when we stray from the path, that it's holier to have strayed and returned than never to have left the path. So when we make tshuva, when we do our return, we need the slipping to have the merit, the blessing that the returning is. And so optimally, we would be aligned all the time, but actually the slipping out of alignment and the finding our way back itself is like building the muscle of embodying the sacred, because we've slipped and then we're finding a way back home. So I'd love to invite us into some embodied practice, some zikr, some prayer of remembrance. And as I was listening to Sheikh Ghassan and Brother James, I was hearing a tune for this phrase, Yerida Biyad Aliyah, descend in order to ascend. And I was hearing also La ilaha illallah. So the tune that we'll pray our zikr to, I believe, was brought through by Rabbi Miriam Marin. I learned it from one of her students, Janine. And so we'll sing it, and I'll invite you, whether you're singing the Hebrew or the Arabic Yarida biyad aliyah, descend in order to ascend, or La ilaha illallah, there is no God but God. Feel welcome on any of the words. Feel welcome also to hum or to be in your breath if the words are too much for you in any way. Also, feel welcome to be in the embodied prayer of the left and the right and the center, with your shoulders, with your trunk, or simply with your heads. Whatever is good for you. Like this, we'll pray. Yerida beyad aliyah, Yerida beyad aliyah, Yerida beyad aliyah, beyad aliyah. Again on that. Yerida beyad aliyah, Yerida beyad aliyah, Yerida beyad aliyah, beyad aliyah. La ilaha, la ilaha illallah, 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 la ilaha illallah. Yerida, Yerida beyad aliyah, Yerida beyad aliyah, Yerida beyad aliyah, beyad aliyah. Yerida, Yerida beyad aliyah, Yerida beyad aliyah, Yerida beyad aliyah, beyad aliyah. La ilaha, la ilaha illallah, 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 la ilaha illallah. Yerida, Yerida beyad aliyah, Yerida beyad aliyah, Yerida beyad aliyah, beyad aliyah. La ilaha, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha, la ilaha illallah, 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 la ilaha illallah. There is no God but God, and we are all that.
Thank you. You know, we started talking about the experience at the beginning of this chat, the experience of dissolving, and I'm certainly feeling that. And it is so joyful. In fact, I think it transcends all joy. St. Paul called this the peace that surpasses understanding. It's beyond our intellectual mind. Our intellect can't go there, but we can certainly feel it, and we can go there. I and we all can go there together. That chant was so beautiful. Thank you so much. And would you do me a favor, dear one? Would you please put the Hebrew word into the chat for "here I am"? Because I really loved what you shared about that. That was amazing. Wow. I don't have any more words. They're gone, which is good. Words are symbols of symbols, so it gets to the point where they're no longer needed. However, many of you may have a question or a thought, and if you do, we would love to hear from you. So if anyone has anything they'd like to share or a question they'd like to ask, just go ahead and unmute yourself and let's hear from you. Maybe you've all been stunned into silence like me.
We can keep making zikr if you wish.
I think we,
Some goodness to bring.
yes, Ghassan, please, and then we can end with another zikr, because as Saint Augustine said, when we sing, we pray twice. There is a magic when we join in song and chant and prayer that takes us beyond all of those concepts and words. So, Ghassan, anything else you'd like to share?
I would like to say that when Father Paul, as you say that nothing can go there and no intellect and no thinking, the process of thinking will stop there. It cannot arrive to that point. Once I came to my sheikh and I asked him, I say to him, "Hey sheikh, many things you told me that I need to do, but sometimes I feel myself I cannot continue. I cannot enter because I came from a very wide path. Slowly, that path began to be smaller, until it can be very tight. I cannot continue. As you say now about Father Paul, he said to me, Hassan, you have a very heavy dress. I was okay. I need to go naked. He said, yes. I said, okay. But if I'll put all of my clothing and I want to continue, it's not a physical. You say, okay, thank God that you began to understand. You need to put all of your weight from your shoulder, throw it out. You will see yourself. You are so fast because when you throw all of your weight, all of this clothing, you will be light. And the light is the fastest thing in this world. Then you can go quickly and you can continue quickly toward your point, last point. And I say, okay, the last point, he say, it's only a terminology. There's no last point. There's no last point. You will continue because even the death, when you'll put out all of your body after the death, you will continue. This is your continuation. And you'll meet many people. Yeah. All of the people. And you will meet through, because all of you will enter, you'll enter through the gate of love. Gate of love. Well, connect with the ethical gate, and you will be smiling, sharing, and hand by hand going together.
Thank you, brother. Wow. I'm so glad you are all here to share this with us. It is light. That's the best way to describe it. We're just becoming light in every way, springing out of these. I mean, it's all sacred, as we heard from Taya, the going in, the coming out, the up, the down, but to feel the expansion into our truest essence, which is light itself and love itself.
I
So
see a
thank
hand
you.
from Nancy.
What was that again, Taya?
I see a hand from Nancy.
Oh, good. How? Hi, Nancy. Go right ahead, dear.
Here I am. I just wanted to share something. I live in Florida, and a few months ago, I was getting spider bite after spider bite after spider bite, and it was becoming, I mean, I was getting welts, I was scratching, I was going crazy, and I could not figure out why. A few days after, I happened to turn on, I happened to listen to a shaman, and he was beginning his ritual. He was outdoors in the Andes, and he noticed a spider walking by where he was seated. And he proceeded to talk about the spider. And he said, the spider has everything it needs within itself. It doesn't need anything else. He can make the webs, he has everything he needs within himself. And that just spoke to me like nothing else. I was meant to hear it. I know I was meant to hear it. And it made a connection with me. Yes, I have everything I need within me, the God within me. I don't need to look anywhere else for it. And from that point on, I never got another spider bite until I didn't. Until last week. I went outside with my dog and I came back and my hand started itching and I looked down and I had just these red welts. And at that point I'm going through some challenges, health challenges with my precious dog. And things just weren't going well. And I was beginning to doubt myself. And I would even verbalize it. I would just cry. I'm not doing everything right. I can't do it. You know, I'm blaming myself, which was a lifelong thing with me. Everybody blamed me. But I realized, I sat just a few days ago and I was looking at my hand and all the bites again. And it came to me again, you have everything within yourself. Look no further. And it was, again, like that light bulb went off. And that's all I wanted to share. We need to look no further. We have it here.
Nancy, where in Florida?
I'm in Naples.
Ah, Naples. I'm from Sarasota.
I emailed you, Hassan. We did talk via email.
Okay.
And I'm sending you as soon as I get it.
Okay, great. You know, send me again because, okay. I'm old man. Okay.
Thank you so much for this sharing.
You're welcome.
The wholeness and the completeness. It's such a gift.
Sorry, someone came to the door who just arrived here at Namaste, so I had to go let him in. Hey.
So I'll drop us back into Zikr for a few more minutes here. Does that work?
That's perfect. Thank you.
We'll flow with where we were in the next iteration. The Yarida Biyadaliya La ilaha illallah. Yerida biyadaliya, yerida biyadaliya, yerida biyadaliya, biyad aliyah beyadalia, yerida beyadalia, yerida beyadalia, beyadalia, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, yerida beyadalia, yerida beyadalia, yerida beyadalia, beyadalia, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, yerida beyadalia, yerida beyadalia, yerida beyadalia, beyadalia, la ilaha illallah, 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 la ilaha illallah.
And so it is. Now we merge into that sacred experience, dissolving into the beloved, exactly where you are. Wherever you find yourself, I am there. That's all we need to remember. I am present right here, right now. And so we take this holy energy with us wherever we are, wherever we're going, whoever we're with. We allow it to just continue to expand and express and to feel the blessing that we've received and to share that blessing. If we can just continue to allow that light to keep shining, shining, shining from us, through us to everyone we meet, that dissolving happens on its own. So I want to thank my dear sister Taya, my dear brother Ghassan. Thank you so much. It's so fun to play with you like this. We're having so much fun. And all of you, whether you're here with us live or watching this recording later, we are very blessed indeed to be together. So we're going to have one more session like this next week. I hope you can all join us. We're going to really pump that one up. So come back next week. And until then, namaste to all of you. Bye, everyone. Have a great day.